Here's a look at the top of the Premier League table as we head towards the weekend. Manchester City 5 points clear of Manchester United with a game in hand. Leicester third, Liverpool fourth. They'll meet on Saturday. Chelsea, West Ham, Everton, and Spurs 5th through 8th. Let's focus in on Spurs for a second. Gareth Bale, of course, missing the FA Cup defeat against Everton this week. Jose Mourinho insisting Bale wasn't 100%, that the player even asked for a scan. That's weird because on Instagram, the day before the match, Bale posted this. Good session today. Okay. Mourinho has responded, quote, "The post was showing that training session was great, so I'm ready, but it was totally wrong. He was not feeling good. He asked for a scan. The scan didn't show an injury, but his feelings were still there, and sports science people, medical coaches can never go against feelings because the player's feelings are more important than all of us. So he was not ready for the game, and it was as simple as that. If he's ready for tomorrow's, he's selected for tomorrow's." Okay, Craig, things don't seem to be getting better between Jose Mourinho and Gareth Bale. What do you think of the latest development here?
Well, listen, it'll be no surprise to anybody to know that Tottenham, if they are going to make the top four and they're in a big fight for it now that Harry Kane's back, do you know my feelings? I don't think they've got a snowball's chance without Harry Kane. But now that he's back for injury, they have got half a chance of doing it, slim as it may be. But they're going to have to be doing it without Gareth Bale for months now, and weeks and months. So it's no surprise. Look, clearly there's a game here, and I don't think this game is actually coming from Mourinho, a man who's been the master of it over his career. But it seems to me that Gareth Bale is having a continuation of the games that he was playing at the end at Real Madrid at Tottenham Hotspur. And it seems to be he's almost mocking his teammates, his manager, and the club by his actions. And look, if Gareth Bale wants to end his career, and as you know, Sebi, I've always been a huge fan of one of the most talented players that has come out of British football in many years. And he has been. I mean, all the Champions Leagues, all the trophies, the performances. But he's rotting at the moment. And if he cares about finishing his career with any sort of quality, he needs to sort this out, because managers and coaches of other clubs, they watch, they listen, and they look. And this particular look for Gareth Bale is saying, do not touch me with a barge pole. And it really is a mess.
Jan, what do you think? Is the majority of the responsibility here on Bale and not Mourinho?
Absolutely. And sometimes I'm just wondering for my colleagues, it's like 100 years ago since I played football, but I've seen some footballers running around, and Gareth Bale, as Craig said, had a fantastic career, winning Champions League, did ever so well for Wales. But I think sometimes you got to think of one day you'll be 43 and you will look back on your career. What did I do and what's my legacy? Is it my trophies or being an idiot at the end of my Real Madrid time or at Tottenham? And sometimes I just feel this saying that no brain, no headache. Because if you do the same thing at Real Madrid and you do the same thing as in Tottenham, then you have to ask yourself, what's similar? Well, it's the football player. And I can't believe it. Gareth Bale, fit, could be a fantastic player for Tottenham. He can do the best crosses in the world for Harry Kane. And he's just throwing away his legacy. And he shouldn't do that, but these kind of players, you've seen them running around in dressing rooms in generations. They are just people, when they're 50, they think back, what an idiot I was.
Has Bale ruined his reputation, his legacy?
I think so. And I think it's all happened in the last few months. Because as much disappointment as we've seen and got from Gareth Bale, particularly in the last year, 18 months in Madrid, he would show up for Wales and he would turn in these performances that reminded you of exactly how talented he is and how much he has to offer. And you felt, well, maybe it just wasn't a fit for whatever reason. And that happens to any number of players. It just wasn't working out in Madrid. It wasn't a fit. He and Zidane couldn't see eye to eye for some reason that we simply weren't aware of. But you come back to Spurs, a club that you excelled at, in an environment you know so well, and the club you know are moving mountains to get you there, to give you that opportunity to replicate what you were doing for Wales back in club football week in, week out. And then this. And as much as I would be the first to say, managers have to take some responsibility for when players underperform, don't fit, when things don't work. I think Jose Mourinho is totally devoid of any blame here. This
really?
Absolutely. This falls entirely on Gareth Bale's doorstep. What you've seen from him for the last, 9 months now since he's been back at Spurs is the disappointments, the missing, the injuries. That's on him. That's not on anybody at the club. Unfortunately, the club are paying.
Go ahead, Craig.
Sebi, as Jan said, this is total validation for everybody in and around Madrid that said, this is not Zinedine Zidane, who seems to me like a very fair and open guy. This is not Zidane going at loggerheads with a player who's given his all. This is validation that this was going on towards the end at Real Madrid. And we saw it reported, leaving the stadium early and all this and falling asleep. And look, Gareth Bale could have done this in Madrid. Why the hell has he allowed himself to go back to a club where he's not getting paid anymore, he's only on loan, back into cold and rainy London, to do what? To do exactly what he could have been doing at his parent club, living in Madrid. It just doesn't make sense. Look, is it were Tottenham getting the Gareth Bale of 4 or 5 years ago? No. But somebody who had at least an element of desire to go out and help a team achieve maybe a top 4 place or a cup win or something like that, he could have, as Jan said, he could have at least have offered something. He's not going to offer 90 minutes twice a week of the sparkling form that we knew and we became accustomed to, but he could offer something. But to offer nothing, which is literally what he's done, apart from a fleeting visit against Marine from 8 divisions below or something in the FA Cup, this guy might as well go and sit at home. And I tell you what, it wouldn't surprise me between now and the end of the season if this continues, that Mourinho says, I tell you what, don't even bother. We'll take the hit. Don't even bother showing up at this training ground because you're a waste of space. That's how it seems to me.
Craig, it's not Marine on Saturday. It's Manchester City, who are first in the Premier League. Does Tottenham have any chance here?
Look, they've always got a chance. And if for those that remember back to the game at home, which Tottenham won, which Man City unsurprisingly dominated, they've got a chance. And it was that axis that day of Heung-min Son and Kane again. And the back pairing at that point, I think, was Laporte and Diaz. Diaz, who I think has a knock but is expected back. So it's probably going to be him and Stones, which has been recently exceptional for Man City. And this is a different Man City to the one that went to London and lost. I think that was one of the moments where it sparked them into saying, right, we need to be more pragmatic here because we've bossed this game, we've been cut open, and almost since then, defensively, they've been fantastic. Now, they're going to have to be that again at the Etihad because, particularly off the back of the 9-goal thriller at Goodison, there's no way in the world Tottenham are opening up. It's not going to happen. So City know it's going to be domination and making sure on the counter-attack that access for Spurs of those 2 players are nullified. If City do that, and I think they have learned their lessons, I see City continuing with this great run they're on.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPNFC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN+.